Okay, I just finished watching the movie Chronicle. I went and saw it this afternoon. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and give my thoughts on the movie, and that way anybody who's wondering if they should go see it can hear my opinion. And then the rest of the video will be full of spoilers. So, you don't have to worry about getting spoiled while I just tell you what I thought about it. Basically, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I don't go to the movies that often, but I thought this looked like a pretty cool movie, so I wanted to go see it. Um, if you go to the movies a lot, you can't really go wrong with this one. It has a lot of action and drama. It's even got a lot of funny parts in it, so it was pretty good overall. Graphics were pretty good, the special effects and all that. The only thing I would say is if you don't really go to the movies that often, you're not really missing much. Just watching it on DVD, if you want to wait for the DVD and get it at Redbox or something, then you'd probably be fine to do that. Like I said, it was cool. It was fun to watch. Just a good movie to go see. So if you like going to the movies and are just looking for something to see this weekend, definitely check out Chronicle. But otherwise, if you only go to the movies whenever there's something you really want to see, then you can probably pass on this one. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the movie. So if you don't want spoilers, leave now. Basically, what happens is there's this kid named Andrew who's really shy. He gets bullied at school. His dad kind of drinks a lot and hits him and stuff, and his mom's really sick, and she's dying basically. So he's got kind of a lot of emotional stuff going on in his life right now, and for some reason he decides to just film everything. So he starts carrying a camera around with him all over the place to school and to lunch, just him eating lunch. So the whole movie is basically shot in kind of a Cloverfield type way, and it's just seen through his camera, and then later on as the movie progresses, it's seen through other people's cameras, security footage, things like that. But it's always through another camera rather than a director and shot like a movie. It's always through someone else's camera, like handheld cameras. So basically, he goes to school and he gets picked on, and he's got like a rough life and stuff. And he's his best friend is basically his cousin Matt, and he's kind of a little bit more outgoing than Andrew is, but that's his cousin, so they're always hanging out together. But they go to this party. It's like a rave, and Andrew, this guy throws a drink on him and kind of pushes him because he thinks he's videotaping his girlfriend, which he's not. Well, actually, he kind of is now that I think about it. But anyway, he's outside, and Steve, the really popular kid at the school who's, in line to be elected student president or whatever, he comes out and he says, Andrew, you got the camera, man. Come check this out. So Andrew reluctantly goes with Steve, and Steve and Matt have found a giant hole in the ground. And basically, Andrew is there to film this hole that they want to show everybody. But Steve gets really anxious. He can't resist, so he goes into the hole. Matt follows him, and Andrew, having the light on the camera, goes with him so that they can see. And they find this weird, like, glowing alien orb type thing down in this hole. It causes Andrew's camera to go off, and it starts getting all haywire and fuzzy, but he stays with it, and they touch it. Steve's touching the orb, and his nose starts to bleed. And then all of a sudden, everything starts shaking really violently, and the cave it looks like it collapses. And the next thing you see is them, outside, and Andrew has a new camera, and now he's videotaping them throwing baseballs at each other, which was pretty funny. So they're trying all these different ways to throw baseballs at each other and stuff, and they decide to go back to the hole. When they get to the hole this time, it's caved in. There's no way to get back into it. The police are up at the top of the mountain. They say, you kids got to get out of here. The whole ground is unstable. So we're sealing the entire property off. So they can't go back to the hole, and they eventually learn that they have these powers. They all can move things with their mind. They all have the same powers. but they can all move things with their minds. Um, they seem to be unable to get hurt. Well, this is what I don't understand. There's one part where he stabs the guy in the hand with a fork, right? Like you see in the trailer for the movie. But they never really mention them being resistant to damage or anything like that. In fact, they get hurt all the time. But anyways, that's besides the point. They start to play around with their powers, and Andrew's the best at it. He can move things like small things and multiple things at once with finesse, whereas the other two have kind of a lot more trouble with it. So, basically, Andrew is the strongest of the three. And they kind of slowly start to play around with their powers a little more. They go to a like toy store and mess around with people. Um, Steve moves this lady's car, and then when she gets out of the store, she thinks it was stolen, but it's really like right behind her. Just things like that. But when they're driving home, it's really raining, and there's a car like riding their ass on the way out of the store. And Andrew says, "Hold the camera, watch this." And he kind of moves the car behind him, and the guy drives off the road. So the other two, Steve and Matt, are freaking out. They're like, "Andrew, what did you do? You hurt this guy. He could be dead." Well, they get the guy out of the car. The police come. He's taken to the hospital, and they decide they need rules. You know, you can't use it on living things. You can't use it when you're angry. Um, just stuff like that. You know, basic rules. And Andrew doesn't really want the rules, but they realize that it's probably for the best. So they just stick with that, and you know, he doesn't really do anything too crazy. But eventually what happens is the other two have these normal lives. But Andrew, being the shy kid, basically just stays home and works his powers. And they realize that the powers are kind of like a muscle, that the more you use it, the more it grows. So they get stronger and stronger and stronger. And because he's using his the most, he's getting even better at it. Well, Steve takes him to a party and dresses him up, and he tells him that, you know, he wants him to be in his talent show. And he's starting to come out of his shell a little bit more. He wows all the other kids at school with the talent show because they think it's just magic, but it's really him using his mind to lift all these crazy things. So he's really popular, and at this party he meets a girl, but before they do any like sexual stuff, he pukes on her. So he starts to get mad, and Steve comes in to console him, but he doesn't want to hear it. He kind of just tells Steve to get out of here and leave me alone. So Andrew is slowly starting to get taken over by his powers, and he's getting more violent and angry. And his dad, you know, accuses him of just running around and being a loser. And Andrew kind of throws his dad around the room and messes him up. And then his mom needs this medication, and he can't afford to get the medicine. So he decides to rob like these kind of drug dealers that sit outside his house, and he fights them off and throws them down the street and steals their money, but it's still not enough. So he goes to a gas station, and he kind of robs the guy there. He pushes the dude, and then all the money flies into his backpack, and he leaves. But the guy who is in the store comes out with a shotgun. Andrew turns around, flings the shotgun up, which hits the gas station, and it causes everything to explode, burning Andrew in the process and putting him in the hospital. Now, there's one key part I forgot that I kind of left out here. When Andrew gets in the fight with his dad, they have learned that they can fly, so he flies up into the sky to be alone, and somehow their minds are linked from this alien orb. So they can kind of hear each other's thoughts, or if one of them's in pain. It never really goes into too much detail about that, but so Steve flies up to meet Andrew and find out what's going on with him. And he says, you know, man, what's happening with you? Why are you up here? And it's kind of a lightning storm going on. And he says, I just want to be left alone. I got a lot of stuff going on, but Steve keeps saying, man, you can talk to me. I'm your best friend. And he says, no, you were never friends with me before this. And he gets mad, and basically Steve gets struck by lightning. And they think it was Andrew who caused it. Well, Matt thinks it was Andrew who caused it, but he can't really be sure. And basically that's what happens to Steve. I did not expect him to be dead this soon. I thought, you know, towards the climax of the movie, he would be one of the ones to try and stop Andrew, but because I remember in the trailer, Andrew saying, I'm stronger than the both of you. But yeah, apparently Steve is killed by Andrew. So flash forward back to where I was. He tries to rob the gas station and it explodes. So he's in the hospital. His dad comes to see him in the hospital. The police are there with him because they have it on tape that he tried to rob the place. And his dad's there. And he says, Andrew, who's kind of unconscious at the moment, he says, last night your mom died. And I should have been there with her, but I was out looking for you. I blame you. It's your fault. And he gets really mad and he says, I know you can hear me. Wake up. And he reaches down to kind of slap him. And Andrew wakes up, grabs his hand, and then the entire like hospital room just blows up, like just flies out the window. So Matt, who's at this girl's house he likes, sees this on the news, and he starts to get a nosebleed, and he realizes something's wrong with Andrew. So he goes to find Andrew, and he is just going crazy, destroying cop cars, helicopters, throwing things all over the damn place. It's pretty awesome. And he's got his dad, and he drops his dad, but Matt flies up and saves his dad, and that just makes Andrew like even angrier. So Matt's the only one left to stop him, but Andrew is so strong, anytime he tries to punch him, he just holds his hand there. He can't get close to him. And he's just trying to tell him, you know, calm down, you got to stop this, we can still save. You know, we can just fly away. We can go fly anywhere. We can go to Tibet, which is what Andrew always wanted to do. And it doesn't convince him. Anytime he gets knocked down, the police get close to him, and then he just wakes up and pushes them all back. So they get to the climax of the movie, and basically the police are surrounding him. Andrew pushes him one last time. Matt regains, you know, enough strength to throw this statue's spear directly through Andrew, and it just kills him instantly. And then he's kind of passed out, and you see the cops moving forwards, and then Matt wakes up and he looks around and sees the police, and then he just flies off. And that's basically it. The next thing we see is Matt. He went to Tibet. He's using this kind of small handheld camera, and he says, Andrew, I'm sorry, but I know that you would realize that I only did what I had to do, and I'm here in Tibet. It's what you always wanted. And he's talking to the camera like it's Andrew now, and he sits the camera down, and it shows Tibet and like these snow-covered mountains, and Matt just flies off. So that's basically Chronicle. Like I said, it was a pretty good movie. There was a lot of action. They had some really cool stuff that happened. It was kind of a new original idea on the entire superhero type alien powers thing, and it was shot Cloverfield style. So it was a pretty unique movie. I thought it was original. I thought it was good, and I really liked it. So I definitely recommend checking this movie out. And if you want to wait for the DVD, just definitely watch it, because you should definitely see this movie. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you liked this review, and check out some of my other videos, and subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and leave some comments. Thanks for listening. Bye.